Good morning and welcome to Wellness in the Woods. I'm Leslie Coretti and I will be your host today. We are so excited to start a new year. It is incredible. I hope that in January for the new year you started all of your things that you want to, what do you call them?
New Year's resolutions.
New Year's resolutions, that you did all that, it's all done, because we are going to start the year with a fantastic Blue Zone program. We're so excited about it. I have with me today a very old friend that has actually been with us in the past, and she's an advocate of laughter yoga. And it's something that brings love, community, spirit, a sense of well-being to the community and to each other. So she is also a certified laughter yoga leader. She has done classes at Walmart University class. Let me see, she's also done them at the Sylvester Center, which I know a lot of you know that, the Sylvester Center. She's been an advocate for seniors' rights, for health and wellness, and she's even lobbied on a state level as well. So, I mean, Pam has it really going on. She will be with us at our first Blue Zone meeting, which is going to be February the 22nd. So mark that calendar. With no further ado, let me introduce Pam to you. Pam, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
You know, I know that you are one of the happiest, nicest people that I know. So tell me a little bit, why did you start doing laughter yoga?
You know, it was something that I came across and became passionate about it as soon as I learned about it. Very fortunate that in Laguna Beach, a gentleman who taught, Jeffrey, was my teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I did go through his certification class. And it was something, I believe humor is so important. Having a positive attitude is so important to our well-being. And the laughter yoga just hit a note because working with seniors, working with Alzheimer's, many times there's depression, and we need to be able to lift spirits however we can, and I found that to be the great vehicle for me to do that.
Right. Why is laughing not enough?
Because when we're laughing, it's only a few seconds. And according to Dr. Kataria, the medical doctor who developed laughter yoga, we need sustained laughter, at least 10 to 15 minutes to get the physical benefits.
So what you're saying is like telling a joke and just laughing for 2 seconds doesn't really cut it.
Because what we're trying to do, again, we're incorporating deep breathing from yoga, that's hence the yoga, and we want to remove that carbon dioxide. And laughter is that sustained breath.
Right. Well, that is really great. So why can Laguna Woods residents learn more? I mean, why would it relate to the Blue Zones, you know, as well? I mean, that's a good question because people are going to say, what does laughter yoga and Blue Zones have to do with each other?
Well, if we want to live longer, if we want to be 100 or more, we can certainly take a lesson from the Blue Zone individuals who incorporate laughter into their daily lives. They consider that to be a main component of their social lives, their families, and finding humor, being flexible in our lives. So that is something that they do is a key component in their lifestyles, along with all the other many things, sense of purpose and all of the other things that go along with that.
Right. Well, I am just so excited to get this year rolling off and started in this new way because, you know, with the Blue Zones, we're thinking about exercise.
Absolutely.
You know, we're thinking about breathing. We're thinking about the food that we're eating. But we haven't actually thought about laughter. So this will be a new component that we're adding to our,
Yes.
our plate of wellness this year, and I'm so excited about it. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see everyone else at, at the seminar on February 22nd,
February
Saturday.
22nd at Clubhouse 7. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back with our next guest. Welcome back. I have a special guest with me today, Kathy, and she is here to introduce one of her colleagues, Stuart, which we're going to be in a second. But first I wanted to let Kathy tell us a little bit about how she got introduced to this company and how it's benefited you.
Yeah, this is a very exciting story. I was on a journey of trying to get well from a heart condition. I had a sick sinus node syndrome since I was 35 years old. And as I got into my late 50s, I started having atrial fibrillation. And my cardiologist wanted to put me on metoprolol, and it had such significant side effects that I was very uncomfortable. And so, as I've done many times in the past, I looked for alternative ways to deal with the atrial fibrillation, and I got into finding this company called Zenzino. And they had created something that's called a balance oil, and it's all about omega-3s and polyphenols, and you're going to hear all about that. I won't go into that in detail. But what it did for me was I took it for 4 months, and I just literally had a test done, my pacemaker check, in December of 24, and my cardiologist, who was actually the head of Hoag Hospital, said, "You have zero atrial fibrillation. What are you doing?"
Oh, really?
He was shocked. He was
wow.
like, "What are you doing?" He asked me, "Am I taking the metoprolol?" I said, "No." And he had given me calcium blockers, and I said, "I'm not taking those either." And so he was really shocked. He said, "It's working. Just keep going." So
Wow,
it's
that
had a
is amazing.
significant impact on my health, not to have to take those drugs that have a lot of side effects.
That is absolutely amazing.
That's just the beginning. It's also helped me with my joints. I'm a 3 times a week tennis player, and I was having trouble with my knees. All of the inflammation that I had in my knees is gone. I don't know, you know, maybe it's coincidental, I don't know, but it's gone. So I'm happy about that.
That's absolutely great. So we're going to go to Stuart now and get a little bit more information.
Yay.
Hello, Stuart. Welcome, welcome. We have a new guest via Zoom, as Stuart wasn't able to be with us today, but he will be with us at our next event. So we're really excited to have him. Welcome, Stuart. Thank you for Zooming in today at such late notice. We really appreciate it. And we're so excited to hear about, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, since we've never met before. And, you know, and so the community would also like to know, you know, a little bit about you and what brought you to this company.
Well, thank you, Leslie. It's great to be on your show. My name is Stuart Tomk. That's spelled T-O-M-C. And I've spent my entire life in the natural product industry. I started in a health food store in 1988, and helped to build the oil of oregano company. You may be familiar with that product.
Oh,
And then
yes.
yes,
I actually been using it this week.
yeah, because it certainly has a role. And then after that, I went on to Nordic Naturals. I was the global educator and spokesperson for the biggest fish oil company in the natural product channel, and helped to work with their science and medical advisory team and launch the product all over the world. And then I also worked with Plus CBD, one of the first publicly traded CBD companies. So I've spent my entire life in the dietary supplement industry. And I'm now currently working with Zenzino, which is a Scandinavian science-based company that's
Wow.
aim is to become the biggest preventative health company in the world, to measurably move the dial on public health globally, and to help shift us all away from guess-based to test-based nutrition. We are the
Okay, I love
pioneers
that.
in test-based nutrition, where we stop guessing and start testing to know what our nutrient levels are.
Yes. I talked with Kathy here, and that was one of the things that really caught my attention, is because a lot of times people take all these vitamins and things, and we don't really know how it's affecting us or if
It's
it's good
so
for us.
It's so true. We spend a lot of money on dietary supplements, especially here in the United States of America. And a lot of people would like to know if their supplements are working. And that's one of the things that we help people do. Our premier test is an at-home omega-6/3 blood spot test. You do not need a doctor's appointment. You don't need a vein puncture. It's a simple little test. Here's one right here, where you just prick your finger and you put 2 drops of blood on the blotter, send it into Oslo, Norway, and then they'll email you back the complete picture
It
of
goes all
what's
the way to
going.
Norway.
It does, for analysis. And
Wow.
the results then get emailed to you. So for anyone that's following this story, I'll try to simplify it. If this is omega-6, and omega-6s come from seeds and nuts and seed oils, or animals that eat grains. And if this is omega-3, it comes from green leafy vegetables or fish that eat algae or fish oil. Omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. They're both essential, Leslie. Your body doesn't make them. We have to get them from our diet. So when they're like this, in the right balance, you're healthy. Your cells are healthy. Nutrients can get in. Waste products can come out. You're more efficient at resolving inflammation. However, most of us are like this, where when we test people, we're alarmed to find out that the average person in America has 25 times more omega-6 than omega-3. What does that mean? If you have more omega-6 than omega-3 in your cell membrane, you also have more saturated fats in your cells. The cell membrane becomes thick and sticky and rigid, and it slows down brain-to-brain cell communication. It slows down getting nutrients in, and it makes it very difficult for waste products to get out. So this very simple test is a measurement of how good your diet is and whether or not you're in the safe zone. So whether or not you're a vegan or a carnivore, it doesn't matter. We're made of 37 trillion cells, and we all need to know this ratio.
Yeah, no. It was really funny because everybody talks about being in balance, whether it is walking, being in balance, or gut health, getting the right enzymes or this or that. I'm not a doctor. I don't know all of these fancy terms, but it seems to be always about being in balance and having not too much of this or too little of that. And so I think this is really an incredible opportunity for the community to find out if they're in balance or not.
And we believe, and I believe, that within the next few years, we will have an AI-assisted physician's assistant on our phone, a
Oh,
little
wow.
robot doctor, and that it will be unthinkable in the coming years to be taking any dietary supplements without testing first. I hope that resonates with people. We have an at-home vitamin D like David test. You don't always get vitamin D on the standard blood panel, although it's more common now. We have an at-home A1C, the long-term blood sugar test. Again, you might not always get that test. You might be delayed in getting that test unless you're type 2 diabetic. And then finally, this omega-6-3 ratio of every single number, that ends up being the most important number for health and longevity that you don't know, that you will know, that you should know. And it's the most modifiable of all of the risk factors because you can correct your omega-6-3 imbalance with a 1-second solution, drinking a shot glass of what we call a Mediterranean diet in a bottle, or Leslie, you can eat 2.5 cans of sardines a day.
Oh,
But what
no.
matters is the
Well,
biomarker.
well, my husband is Italian, and of course, we do eat a Mediterranean diet. And every now and then, when there's nothing ready to eat, he will go for a can of sardines and throw it in a salad or something like that. But not 2 cans and not every day. I mean, that's just crazy.
And we've tested people around the world, in Italy, in Japan, I mean, in countries around the world, and we've been alarmed at what we have found. The laboratory we work with in Norway is called Vitas Analytical Services. They're in the Science Center in Oslo, Norway. They've won Laboratory of the Year multiple years in a row. They work with Harvard, King's College, the Max Planck Institute. It's very sophisticated. And we've been very surprised to find out, for example, people in Japan that are known for eating copious amounts of fish, they also fail the test.
Really?
Because, let's go back to what I said at the beginning. Omega-6s come from seeds and nuts and seed oils. Omega-3s come from green leafy vegetables, fish, or fish that eat them. In Japan, you might be eating a lot of fish, but there's still sesame seed oil. So instead of guessing if your diet is healthy, we've all heard of the blue zones, right? How ideal the diet is in Okinawa, in Sardinia, in places where people live a long life. But this gives you a real snapshot of what's going on in you, the individual. We're made of 37 trillion cells. We're only as healthy as our cells. So this test is a measurement, a proxy for systemic inflammation, because it's measuring the ratio of pro-inflammatory to anti-inflammatory omega-6 to omega-3. This will go down in history as the single most predictive number for health that we have. Watch it, it'll happen. LDL, HDL, triglycerides, omega-6-3 ratio, this will be on your standard blood panel in the coming years.
Wow. Wow. And we are going to have it now. That is
There's
so
don't wait, test now.
So we're going to have a meeting here in the village on February the 22nd at Clubhouse 7. And we are going to hopefully do some of this testing, you know, on the spot. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but
Oh yes, no, I'll be there. And we're going to test a whole bunch of people and help people take better control of their health. And then, of course, introduce you to the solution as well. I said you could eat 2.5 cans of sardines a day, or you could take a Mediterranean diet in a bottle. That's really the solution here. Zinzino has come up with omega-3 3.0. Why do I call it that? Most omega-3 fish oils in the market, if not all of them, when you remove the mercury, which you must do, you inadvertently strip out all of the antioxidants that are connected to the algae. Now, if you remember the story that started the omega-3 conversation with the Inuit in Greenland that were eating whale blubber and had the lowest levels of heart disease in the world, when we analyze that whale blubber, it all goes back to the algae. You see, the algae have omega-3 in the middle, and then the antioxidant, the polyphenol, on the outside. So the plankton eats the algae, the small fish eat the plankton, the whales eat the small fish, the Inuit eats the whale blubber. So what their diet was composed of, the Inuit diet, was polyphenols and omega-3s. Commercial omega-3 products, the kind that most people can buy at the store, when you strip out the mercury, you rip out the good stuff too. So not only do we test you, we show you how to get back in balance in 120 days. And this is what was stunning to me, Leslie. With 1.5 million tests, 99% of people fail the first test, but after 120 days on the Mediterranean diet in a bottle, they then dramatically improve or pass. So not only do we have that data, we have original science that we've published in the Journal of Sports Science, where we've given to football soccer players in Europe the balance oil. We've tested them first, and from beginning to end, they go from out of balance into balance, and it reduces rates of infection and absenteeism because it's bringing the cells back into their proper ratio so that you can handle inflammation more effectively. And as we know, inflammation is the driving force behind most of our health challenges.
Mm. But just to improve our immune system, I mean, I'm pretty healthy. Uh, thank the Lord, gave me this great body. But what about just improving the immune system? Like so many people have so many different ailments, whether it even be an eye or, you know, a knee or a hip or a foot. Um, you know, what about just basic improvement of the immune system? How does that work?
Yes, thank you for talking about this because that's exactly what we are doing here. If you imagine going back in high school biology, I know it's been a long time for me, probably a long time for a lot of us, but inside of the cell membrane, if you remember the lipid bilayer, that's where all of the fatty acids are. And there are about 100 different fatty acids that can make up the cell membrane. So what we're measuring is the ratio of pro-inflammatory to anti-inflammatory fatty acids in that cell membrane. What does that mean to the average person? When you're out of balance, there is data that says having way too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, like most of us, that correlates to an increase in all causes of mortality of all kinds, because we're talking about systemic cellular inflammation. So to your point, if it's a bum knee, if it's a painful shoulder, if it's a chronic silent inflammation that just doesn't seem to go away, in large part, that may be because of this dramatic imbalance between these two essential fatty acids. And that's one of the reasons why we see such profound impact for people going from out of balance into balance, whether it's mental health, stress response. There was a paper recently published in the Journal of Aggressive and Violent Behavior that showed that omega-3 was a safe, cheap, and effective way to help reduce aggression up to 30%.
Wow.
The brain is a supercomputer made out of fat. If we don't have the right micronutrients in the brain and the right fatty acids, it just doesn't operate correctly.
Well, so
Vision.
talking about the brain, what about our cognitive?
Exactly. So the stress response, most of us forget, right? That the stress response that we've been under, one of our medical and scientific advisors always points out that stress is like chemotherapy. The downstream effects of stress shuts down the immune system so that we can run for our lives. So we're talking about correcting a fundamental imbalance in every cell that affects us globally, our brains, our vision, our skin. Our skin is our largest organ.
Yes,
When we've
that's right.
got systemic inflammation, it's pretty much written all over our faces. And then for just the aches and pains in the body as we age, and we're all living longer. We all know that. So if we
Yes.
can make your cells more flexible, allowing nutrients in and waste products out, and increasing cell-to-cell communication, you feel it, you see it, you live it. You think better, you act better, you look better, you sleep better, and you are better. We're building a better body. It takes 120 days for all these red blood cells to turn over. That's why we test once in the beginning, and then we test again after 120 days. And it's the most modifiable risk factor for disease that we have. Correcting this imbalance, Leslie, is equal to quitting smoking, quitting
Oh,
drinking,
oh,
and
wow.
exercising. This is an enormous public health message, which is why I wanted to be on your show today.
Wow, that is great. I mean, even for the younger people as well, you know. But of course, for us people here in Laguna Woods Village are basically 55 plus community, we're all concerned about not just living longer, but living well longer.
I could not agree more. The data is clear. There will be more centenarians in the next 20 years than there have ever been in the history of the world.
And they're
Yeah.
going to be right here in Laguna Woods.
Well, there's a huge chunk of them, and you know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So if we are going to be living that long, doesn't it make sense that you want to have optimal brain cell to brain cell fluidity?
Yes.
You want the ability to unlearn, to learn new things. That's very important. We're in a giant technological disruption. We want to see our grandchildren grow up. We want to see their children grow up. And this is a critical way to help people achieve that in a simple, quantifiable way. Because if you're not testing what this number is, and again, this is a measurement of inflammation in every one of your cells, why wouldn't you want to be in possession of this vital health information?
Yes, I definitely agree. And I cannot wait until the 22nd in order to let people, I know a lot of people watch our program, but to actually be there in person and, you know, ask questions and get the test is going to be phenomenal. So we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and being with us. We so appreciate it and giving us the opportunity to think about this possibility of living longer, healthier, and it's just amazing what you're doing. So thank you. Thank you for all of the
Thank you, Leslie.
studying and things that you have done in the past to bring us to this point. We really appreciate it.
It's truly my pleasure. We'll have a big slideshow. We'll have all kinds of scientific data to help support everything that we're saying. So please come on out and don't miss the opportunity to get tested to find out your most important number for health and longevity, your balance between omega-6 and omega-3. I look forward to seeing you all in person.
All right, bye for now. Thank you so much. All right, ciao, ciao. Thank you, Stuart. That was absolutely great. Well, Kathy, that was fantastic information.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So let's see how we can take that test.
Let's do the test. I brought it with me right here, the balance test. It's so easy to do.
Wow.
You get it at home. You literally open the box like this. It has instructions for you. You won't need them, trust me. And at our age, right, we've done enough blood tests. We know what to do. So we get this package open, and there's a little pinprick needle in here.
He said, just prick my finger?
That's all it takes is that you prick. No, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't want to prick your finger. I'm going to do it because I'm actually at my 4-month retesting stage. So I'm going to get to see that I am down to my safe zone balance ratio.
Okay.
So you take it out like this.
Okay.
You put it in. That's literally it. You have a little package that's inside here. This is your card that you want to drop. It's a dry blood test. So you put your finger on here and just squeeze it into these. I hope I'm in the right camera. Squeeze it into there. And there's your dry blood test. You literally just let that dry. You pull off this section because you want to keep this number. That's how you're going to go on computer and find your test results.
Get your results.
But you're going to slide this back in when it's dry. You're going to put it in the envelope, and that is your test.
Wow.
It's ready to go to the lab, and you'll get it back in 7 days, and you'll know how much of the danger zone you're in. When I first tested 4 months ago, I was in 20-1. I know when I get my test back in 7 days after I send this, I'll be down in the 3-1 safe zone.
Wow, that is so exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss our next meeting. It is going to be February the 22nd. Wellness in the Woods is going to be at Clubhouse 7, and everyone is invited. It is a minor $5 at the door, as always, and no reservation required. So we hope to see you there. And remember, everything that you do with love. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.